Morning. Today's vlog is something a little bit different and hopefully something a little bit special. It's going to need us to use our imaginations a little bit. So it's May time, but the year is 1940 and the Second World War is well underway. There's a little Norwegian fishing boat that's tootling around in the Humber estuary. It's going out, doing some fishing, bringing the fish back, and it's being sold at market, keeping the locals in food while we're at war. What we don't realise is that things are kind of going wrong. And in Churchill's words, there's been a complete disaster. And we've got 330,000 troops stranded on the beaches of Dunkirk. So Churchill puts a call out for all seagoing vessels to answer the call for an operation that claimed to be known as Operation Dynamo, a secret mission to rescue 330,000 troops from the beaches. Our little Norwegian fishing boat answers this call and tootles off down the east coast of England to meet up with another 850 boats, all ready, primed to cross the channel and rescue our troops. Between the 26th of May and the 4th of June, our little fishing boat makes 2 trips across the channel, each trip rescuing 36 personnel. Those that couldn't stand or were semi-conscious will lay down in the hold, and planks will lay around them, and another 8 personnel will lay on top. Those that could sit were asked to sit in a brace position and braced in against the ribs and wherever they could put them. Another 6 personnel could stand on either side of the engine, and 3 personnel could stand in the wheelhouse with the skipper. In total, 72 army personnel were rescued on our little seafaring boat. The operation was a complete success. And afterwards, our little fishing boat tootled back off up the east coast and carried on doing the fishing that it had done before, selling all the fish at market, and that carried on throughout the war period. And our story doesn't end though. This video is being released at a time that is smack bang in the middle of that 26th of May to the 4th of June period. It's 81 years to the day that our little Norwegian fishing boat was making those crossings and rescuing our personnel. Unfortunately, out of the 850 boats that took part in Operation Dynamo, there's probably only about 50 boats that have survived to this day. And you've probably guessed, the little Norwegian fishing boat in our story is one of them. And if you look hard enough, bobbing up and down on the Leeds-Liverpool Canal in the north of England is our little Norwegian fishing boat that's in this story. Still in the original paint scheme that she was given to do the channel crossings, and still running around today.
this is my historic boat, WW2, and from what we can gather she was built in 1936 and was one of the little Dunkirk ships. So to get to the story of how she became one of the little Dunkirk ships, she used to be a Norwegian fishing boat based in Morg de Ramsdal on the Grand Fjord, and this was in a fleet of 6. This boat is number 1. Number 4 is still floating. After some big modernisation in the 60s, it's still being used as a commercial fishing boat on the fjords. Now our little boat used to be one of 2 that used to skip from Morg de Ramsdal down the west coast of mainland Europe, skip over the channel from France, and then up the east coast of the UK and go into the Humber estuary. Then once it came into the Humber, it used to trade at Billingsgate Market. Now you might think what this little boat used to trade at Billingsgate, and one of the staples over in Norway in the early 1900s was air-dried fish. So these catch to catch on these little boats, take it over to the harbour where the females used to all prep all the fish, hang them out on stakes to dry, and then eventually the fish used to be boxed up, placed through the little cratch on the bow of the boat, into the boxes in the fish hold, and then the boat used to be skipped over to here to trade. Now on their return journey they used to take a lot of goods from the UK and take it back over, so they still had the ballast in the bow to keep the bow sap deep into the water and stop the stern from sticking when it was going into a higher rev. Now we've got the original engine still installed, which is a 2-cylinder Saab engine. She's 22 horsepower, and at the stern of the boat we have what's called a cowled propeller. Now the cowled propeller means that the engine will produce more power when it's on open water by producing a jet of water rather than a 90-degree angle either side of the prop. We have got what's called a variable pitch propeller as well. So the blades are around 1.5 foot each with a 8-inch centre of the prop, and we've got a variable pitch, so rather than the engine having a gearbox where it goes forward, neutral and reverse, the engine's always causing the propeller to turn, and it turns in an anti-clockwise direction. With the variable pitch, that means if we change the angle with one of the levers in the wheelhouse, the blades change direction of which way they push the water, so it'll either suck or push the water accordingly to the angle of the prop. Now we're in the middle of a bit of a technical issue with the engine at the minute. We have a couple of difficulties with the governor, and parts for an engine this old are a bit hard to come by, so we're in the process of seeing if we can get some of the crush washers for the fuel system and to get some parts for the governor. So hopefully we should have it back up and running in the next couple of weeks if all goes to plan with the stockists in Norway. But yeah, we should have her up and running again soon, and hopefully skipping around the northwest canals and telling her little story throughout the canal system. So yeah, this is WW2.